Medicinal foods and food remedies. In this audiobook you will learn about key plant foods and their medicinal uses. Chapter 3. Beans, peas and lentils. Beans, peas and lentils are tabooed by the followers of Dr. Haig, the gout specialist, on account of the belief that they tend to increase the secretion of uric acid. But this evil propensity is stoutly denied by other food reformers. For myself, I am inclined to believe that their supposed indigestibility, etc., arises from the fact that they are generally cooked in hard water. They should be cooked in distilled or boiled and filtered rain water. The addition of lemon juice while cooking renders them much more digestible. According to Sir Henry Thompson, haricot beans are more easily digested than meat by most stomachs. Consuming weight for weight, the eater feels lighter and less oppressed, as a rule, after the leguminous dish, while the comparative cost is greatly in favor of the latter. Lentils are the most easily digested of all the pulse foods, and therefore the most suitable for weakly persons. A soup made of distilled water and red lentils may be taken twice a week with advantage. Lentils contain a good percentage of iron, and also phosphates. Beet. The red beet is useful in some diseases of the womb, while the white beet is good for the liver. It is laxative and diuretic. The juice mixed with olive oil is also recommended to be applied externally for burns and all kinds of running sores. Cabbage. All the varieties of the colewort tribe, including cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and curly greens, have been celebrated from very ancient times for their curative virtues in pulmonary complaints. Athenian doctors prescribed cabbage for nursing mothers. On account of the sulfur contained in them, cabbages are good for rheumatic patients. They may be eaten steamed, or, better still, boiled in soft water and the broth only taken. The ordinary boiled cabbage is an indigestible, windy vegetable, and should never be eaten. Caraway seed. Caraway seeds sharpen the vision, promote the secretion of milk, and are good against hysterical affections. They are also useful in cases of colic. When used to flavor cakes, the seeds should be pounded in a mortar, especially if children are to partake thereof. When used medicinally, 20 grains of the powdered seeds may be taken in a wineglassful of hot water. But for children, half an ounce of the bruised seeds are to be infused in cold water for 6 hours, and from 1 to 3 teaspoonfuls of this water given. A poultice of crushed caraway seeds moistened with hot water is good for sprains. Caraway seeds are narcotic, and should therefore be used with caution. Carrot. Carrots are strongly antiseptic. They are said to be mentally invigorating and nerve restoring. They have the reputation of being very indigestible on account of the fact that they are generally boiled, not steamed. When used medicinally, it is best to take the fresh, raw juice. This is easily obtained by grating the carrot finely on a common penny bread grater, and straining and pressing the pulp thus obtained. Raw carrot juice, or a raw carrot eaten fasting, will expel worms. The cooked carrot is useless for this purpose. A poultice of fresh carrot pulp will heal ulcers. Fresh carrot juice is also good for consumptives on account of the large amount of sugar it contains. Carrots are very good for gouty subjects, and for derangements of the liver. Celery. Celery is almost as specific for rheumatism, gout, and nervous indigestion. The most useful plants for this purpose are small, not too rapidly grown nor very highly manured. It may be eaten raw, or steamed, or in soup. Strong celery broth flavored with parsley is excellent. Cresses. All the cresses are antiscorbutic, that is, useful against the scurvy. The ancient Greeks also believed them to be good for the brain. The ordinary mustard and cress of our salads is good for rheumatic patients, while the watercress is valuable in cases of tubercular disease. Anemic patients may also eat freely of it on account of the iron it contains. Care should be taken, however, from whence it is procured, as a disease peculiar to sheep, but communicable to man, may be carried by it. It should not be gathered from streams running through meadows inhabited by sheep. Chestnut. Chestnuts, when cooked, are valuable food for persons with weak digestive powers. They should be put on the fire in a saucepan of cold water and cooked for 20 minutes from the time the water first boils. John Evelyn, FRS, a 17th century writer, says of them, "They are a lusty and masculine food for rustics at all times, and of better nourishment for husbandmen than coal and rusty bacon, yea, or beans to boot." Cinnamon. Cinnamon is a very old-fashioned remedy for soothing the pain of internal or unbroken cancer. One prescription is the following: take 1 pound of Ceylon sticks. Simmer in a closed vessel with 1 quart of water until the liquid is reduced to 1 pint. Pour off without straining, and shake or stir well before taking. Take half a pint every 24 hours. Divide into small doses and take regularly. Cinnamon has a powerful influence over disease germs, but care must be taken to obtain it pure. It is often adulterated with cassia. Cinnamon tea may be taken with advantage in cases of consumption, influenza, and pneumonia. Coconut. Coconut is an old and very efficacious remedy for intestinal worms of all kinds. A tablespoonful of freshly ground coconut should be taken at breakfast until the cure is complete. The desiccated coconut is useless for curative purposes. Coffee. Coffee is a most powerful antiseptic, and therefore very useful as a disinfectant. It has been used as a specific against cholera with marvelous results, and is useful in all cases of intestinal derangement. But only the pale roasted varieties should be taken, as the roasting develops the poisonous, irritating properties. There is always danger in the roasting of grains or berries on account of the new substances that may be developed. I do not recommend coffee as a beverage, but as a medicine. Date. The nourishing properties of dates are well known. They are easily digested, and for this reason are often recommended to consumptive patients. According to Dr. Fernie, half a pound of dates and half a pint of new milk will make a satisfying repast for a person engaged in sedentary work. Elderberry. The elderberry has fallen into neglect of late years, owing to the lazy and disastrous modern habit of substituting the mineral drugs of the chemist for the homemade vegetable remedies of our grandmothers. Nevertheless, the elderberry is one of the most ancient and tried of medicines, held in such great esteem in Germany that, according to the German folklore, men should take off their hats in the presence of an elder tree. In Denmark there is a legend to the effect that the trees are under the protection of a being known as the Elder Mother, who has been immortalized in one of the fairy tales of Hans Andersen. The berries of the elder tree are not palatable enough to be used as a common article of food, but in the days when nearly every garden boasted its elder tree, few housewives omitted to make elderberry wine in due season. It is not permitted to food reformers to make wine, but those readers who are fortunate enough to possess an elder tree might well preserve the juice of the berries against winter coughs and colds. Preserved fruit juice. The following is E and B, May's recipe for preserving fruit juice. Put the fruit into a preserving pan, crush it and allow it to simmer slowly until the juice is well drawn out. This will take about an hour. Press out the juice and strain through a jelly bag until quite clear. Put the juice back into the pan, and to every quart add 1/4 pound of best cane sugar. Stir until dissolved. Put the juice into clean, dry bottles. Stand the bottles in a pan of hot water, and when the latter has come to the boil, allow the bottles to remain in the boiling water for 15 minutes. The idea is to bring the juice inside the bottles to boiling point just before sealing up, but not to boil it. See that the bottles are full. Cork immediately on taking out of the pan, and then seal up. To seal, mix a little plaster of Paris with water and spread it well over the cork. Let it come a little below the cork so as to exclude all air. The juice of the elderberry is famous for promoting perspiration, hence its efficacy in the cure of colds. 2 tablespoonfuls should be taken at bedtime in a tumbler of hot water. The juice of the elderberry is excellent in fevers, and is also said to promote longevity. Elderberry poultice. The leaves of the elder, boiled until they are soft, with a little linseed oil added thereto, laid upon a scarlet cloth and applied, as hot as it can be borne, to piles, has been said to be an infallible remedy. Each time this poultice gets cold it must be renewed for the space of an hour. At the end of this time the final dressing is to be bound on, and the patient put warm to bed. If necessary the whole operation is to be repeated, but the writer assures us that this hath not yet failed at the first dressing to cure the disease. If any reader desires to try the experiment, I would suggest that the leaves be steamed rather than boiled, and pure olive oil used in the place of linseed oil. It must also be remembered that no outward application can be expected to effect a permanent cure, since the presence of piles indicates an effort of nature to clear out some poison from the system. But if this expulsion is assisted by appropriate means the pain may well be alleviated by external applications. Pepper should be avoided by sufferers from piles.